Welcome to the show, guys. FTFN Virtual Tailgate. Welcome. We've got all the top ambassadors from every NFL team. Excited to roll through the matchups heading into Week 15. Some fantasy implications, some seriousness going on here, especially in fantasy football leagues, guys. Make sure you guys are editing your lineups and make sure you guys are staying sharp going into this week. So we're going to start off here. You guys know it. We're going to start off with the news in regards to injuries, because there's a lot of injuries, especially for fantasy purposes and reality. If you put some money down on some games, I understand that sometimes it's important you know who's in, who's out. So we're going to have Jeff cover that. Then we're going to cover some latest news and notes, some trending headlines, including Carson Wentz and him not wanting to be on the Eagles. We got an Eagles guy to talk about that later. And so let's start off with the injuries here. So Jeff, man, what is going on, man?
Yeah, so, Joe, we got a couple of quarterbacks that, they figured they were probably going to play, but, it is for sure they're going to play now. So Drew Brees, with his ribs and things going on, he's going to play against the Chiefs today. Matt Stafford, they kind of went back and forth. Is he going to play? Is he not going to play? He usually plays with, kind of like Brett Favre, just always fighting through injuries, And so he's going to play with his rib injury against the Titans. We got Alex Smith out for the football team against Seattle. He's out with the calf injury. Not a whole lot of running backs of note that are going to be out. That really no big names there. Ronald Jones is one that's out because of his finger and COVID, kind of a combination. And then Julio Jones is going to be out. He's got another hamstring injury. He seems to get those all the time. And then pretty much he's really the receiver of note. And then Jimmy Graham and Mike Gesicki are the two tight ends that are going to be out in their matchups. Jimmy Graham has a hip injury. And actually, you know what? He's going to play, it looks like, based on what I have here. He wasn't going to play, but now he is going to play. And then Gesicki's going to play against the Patriots. Maybe he's got a shot to play, but they aren't 100% sure yet. But that would be big for him to kind of be a security blanket for his quarterback in that game. So that's pretty much it, Joe. Not a whole lot going on other than that, though.
Everybody's broken already. Like the first couple weeks, everyone was broken. Now it's kind of dwindling down. It's kind of been the craziest year for injuries. Wouldn't you agree? I mean, this has been insane.
Between the injuries and then trying to figure out who has COVID, who didn't have COVID, but was in close contact with somebody that did. And so you've got, they put them on reserve for, a few weeks here and there. It is wild, but hopefully, as you guys have talked before, hopefully we can get through this year and then level things back out next year,
Can I get your honest opinion here? Do you think for next year, do we have better infrastructure now to cover the COVID to make it a little less, less impact on the players playing? Do you think we're going to be in better shape for next year based on the trend?
Yeah, I think so. I think the way that, for one, just everybody's awareness, Scott and I were talking about that, just the awareness of how to handle the situation. I think you're going to see teams really ratchet down on their protocols for what they want. The league's probably going to put something out, that's obviously going to be mandated, but the teams themselves are going to want to try to get more fans into the stands because they don't like losing money. And so they're going to want to try to tighten up the reins on their, especially their star players for sure. But I think you're going to see that. I agree with you. I think they're going to see some big changes next year. But also too, something to note that's non-football related, I guess, in a sense, but the vaccinations, I'm fixing to take mine like next week. And so they've got some vaccinations coming out. So I think you're going to see that play a big role with that as well. So I think it's going to bode well for you guys all the way around as far as football and everything.
All right, Jeff, I appreciate you coming on. Thanks for the update, man. Good insight there. All right, let's move on here. Let's move on here to Matt. Matt's going to talk some latest news and notes here. What's trending in the news, Matt? What's going on? Give me some soap opera drama.
Well, if you wanted some drama, last night was pretty emotional for Buffalo Bills fans, including myself, as the team won the AFC East for the first time in
Crazy.
25 years.
Wow. And I was looking at that. That was crazy. 25 years. And I mean, the first question was it all Brady, you think, or was it just the lack of the options with the Bills? Like, I was trying to process this in my head. I know a big part of it is Brady, but I mean, it might be a combination of both things, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's, Buffalo had a carousel at the quarterback position for a long time. They had Ryan Fitzpatrick, they had Drew Bledsoe, they had EJ Manuel, who was one of the biggest draft busts in history. So it has a lot to do with the Patriots, and obviously the Bills weren't the only team to not win the division, but it was the Miami Dolphins and the Jets as well too. So it has a lot to do with the Patriots and Tom Brady, but it also has to do with, the Bills not being able to draft properly, not being able to bring in a general manager who can make these moves. But it was really cool to see on social media last night, even with, the social distancing in the world that we're living in now. Everybody in Buffalo gathered around the airport last night to welcome the team back home. So very, very cool moment. Definitely something I'll be remembering for quite some time, but we do have some other news to get to. I think Scott covered a little bit of it already, but Drew Brees is going to be in, but they are going to lose Michael Thomas, who has been kind of in and out for the Saints all season. So some other interesting notes we have, it's going to be, if you're looking for some starting quarterbacks, they're going to be probably some on your waiver wire, because we have Colt McCoy and Ryan Finley starting this week. So Colt McCoy in for the Giants, Ryan Finley in for the Bengals. Derek Carr is going to be out for 2 to 3-ish weeks with a significant groin injury. And I don't know if Scott covered it, but Dwayne Haskins is going to be starting for the Washington football team. So very, very interesting stories always coming out of them. Obviously, Alex Smith had quite a significant ankle injury, but played through it. But, Washington's prevailing. They've had a lot of adversity with Ron Rivera having cancer this season and everything going on with COVID. So to see them doing pretty well this season, as football fans, I think we're pretty happy to all see that.
And how about Carson Wentz? What are your thoughts on him, really? Do you think that he deserves to be angry for the situation with Jalen Hurts starting?
The Eagles have kind of given him opportunity after opportunity, and sometimes you just need a fresh start. Sometimes I know there's been a lot of speculation about him going to Indianapolis and taking over for Phillip Rivers there, or even going to Detroit. But it's a tough position. It's one of the only professions where there's only 32 jobs.
Right.
And if somebody just happens to have a little more success than you at the moment, then you kind of, you got to take your lickings and see if you can try and rebound. But, Carson Wentz has definitely struggled this season, and, the Eagles are really trying to salvage what they have left of theirs. So moving over to Jalen Hurts and giving him the opportunity, I think Doug Peterson's in the right here.
Well, I appreciate it, Matt. Thanks for the update. It looks like you got to get back to your Christmas wrap in there. I see it in the background.
Yeah, honestly, I'm at this point, I'm just going to start bagging them all because they're looking awesome.
I appreciate it, man. All right, let's roll.
Happy holidays, guys.
Yeah, all right, let's roll to Ruben. Where are you? Are you awake yet?
Yes, sir. You know how it is. H-Town till I drown, baby. Let's get it going.
We're playing you this week, Colts versus the Texans. I mean, what do you got to say for the Texans this year at this point? I think we've got this in the bag. I think we're going to win this, the Colts. But I think you guys cover the spread. I think the 7.5 is a bit much. I don't know why it's so high. It's a divisional game. I think it's going to be closer than people think. I mean, there's a chance even Houston could win this thing. So what are your thoughts on this game? Do they win, and the Texans' projection for the rest of the season, really?
I do think we win this game only because Deshaun Watson still has that horrible Nick Martin fumble taste in his mouth. Joe, we spoke 2 weeks ago that this is going to be a very good game, a closer game than everybody thought. But it's going to be very hard to win. We won't have Justin Reed. We're not going to have a bunch of people on defense. We're getting David Johnson back, who's been an absolute bum for us. So it's going to be a tough game. But like I always say, when you have Deshaun Watson back there at QB, you are going to have a puncher's chance.
Yeah, man, I'm not really excited about this game. I mean, I think the Colts are going to win this game here, but I'm really disappointed in the Texans. A little disappointed in David Johnson again. Just didn't perform up to speed. What was it? Do you think it's David Johnson's lack of ability at this point, or do you think it's the fact that is he washed up, or is it just the offense just didn't give him the opportunity that he could have had?
It's just Bill O'Brien just found a way to screw it up. He tried to play God. He wanted to be the GM, the VP. He damn near was the owner, and he didn't construct his team the way it should be. He neglected the defense. He neglected the offensive line, and we're seeing that. I mean, we suck right now. We shouldn't suck with a franchise QB.
Yeah.
I feel like the Eagles right now.
Yeah, we'll get the Eagles guy on later here. But yeah, man, you're right. I mean, especially if you pay a quarterback that much, higher expectations. So last thing I want to ask you here. So what are the Texans going to improve next year? It's got to be O-line addressed right away, or what do you think they need? A receiver maybe?
No, I think it's the defense, because just Watson has been putting up MVP numbers with scrubs. Kiki Kuti did not play his first 2 years. He's reached the end zone a couple times in the past couple games. Chad Hansen, who was on the practice squad, he had like 150 yards last week. Mm-hmm. So we're able to do great on offense because of Watson, but we're not going to get nowhere with this horrible defense that we have.
So what's the score prediction for this week?
I'm going to go 27-24 Texans. I just want to see them, go to Indy and really, punch them in the mouth.
Yeah, I think it's the other way around. I got the Colts with that same score, give or take. I think it's going to get down. It's going to be down to a field goal, I think. All right, Ruben, I appreciate you, man. Have a good Christmas, man.
Yeah, y'all too, man. H-Town until I join.
All right, man. We'll talk soon. All right, where are the Lions and the Titans? Let's roll with this, man. Let's get Dose, a.k.a.
let's get it.
Pat Mahomes. What's going on, man?
Hey, what's going on? Good to be here.
I'll let you and Mark battle this out. I mean, we know Detroit has some issues this year, including Kenny Galladay being probably shelved for the rest of the season. What's going on with that, and what are your expectations for the rest of the season, man? You guys are a mess.
Yeah, we are a mess. So Kenny Galladay, I guess he had a presser. He said that he wanted to play, so it's not a contract issue, but they're going to start talking about possibly shutting him down. So I don't think he's going to come back this year. He's been out for a while. He's just not improving in practice. We haven't seen him in practice in like 4 or 5 weeks, so I don't think he's coming back.
Hold on, I want to get one thing before you continue. Are they going to re-sign him, or is this it for Kenny? Because he's a free agent, right?
Right, yeah, dude, I don't know. I mean, my initial thought was it was no-brainer you're going to re-sign the guy because your offense you just kind of need him out there. He's just such a difference maker. But now with the questions in the front office, who's going to be your head coach? Who's our general manager? I mean, who knows? Because you don't really have anybody to pay him, so you're trying to figure out who that's going to be first. I hope they pay him. I love Kenny Galladay, but I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if they let him walk.
Mark, what do you think, man? This matchup, it's all Titans, I think, right? You guys are a 9.5-point favorite.
Well, I don't want to hear it. Every time I come on the show and we have our huge favorites, whether it be the Bengals or whoever, we find a way to lose. So I'm just going to keep one game at a time. We got a Dory Jackson coming back for the first time this year. Our number 2 pick, our top corner, which would be right behind Butler and Jackson, would be Christian Fulton. He'll make a return today. So it looks like the Titans are finally going to get healthy in the secondary. But the question is, Joe, there's absolutely no pass rush in Tennessee. It's going to be all the Derrick Henry show again, trying to get to that 2K, which I'm excited about. I think he has an actual chance, and then you can put him in the MVP category. But the Titans just legitimately, it may get to a point in this game, even against Stafford, where they just don't rush the quarterback and they play 11 in coverage. I don't know.
But you guys have so much talent. We've seen flashes of Corey Davis having a big game a couple of weeks ago, A.J. Brown. I think the talent is there. I don't know. I like the team. I like the people. I actually came out and quoted, quote, Derrick Henry is the nicest human being in the NFL or something like that, or the best human being. Anyway, I like Derrick Henry a lot, right? Because you think a guy that's a monster like that running over people with the swagger that he's got, that he would be an arrogant prick, but he's not. He's super nice. Like, it seems like he's humble, right? He runs over people. And he's almost like an Andrew Luck at running back kind of. But the thing is, do you guys have enough to kind of go all the way? I think there's something missing there. I don't know if you have it all.
Well, Ryan Tannehill can do the job. I mean, Ryan Tannehill this year is 28 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. I believe he might be the number 1 Titan of all time in touchdown passes, and he still has 3 games left. So that is something to note. Again, you mentioned AJ Brown, Corey Davis, a guy that's been forgotten the last few weeks because of the whole offensive line issues at left tackle has been Jonnu Smith. He's been kind of forced I know for fantasy football implications, that's a total bummer, but he's been forced to kind of stay home more. And, but again, it's going to run through Derrick Henry. You got to at least have one piece of the pie, and the Titans at least do have that in the running game. And they do an okay job stopping the run, but against Mahomes and some of these quarterbacks who can fling it all over the yard. And that's why I think the Lions have a fighter's chance today, That's the issue going forward. And you just can't find some pass rusher off the street. So that's going to be an ongoing issue for sure.
Troy, what do you think, man? Would you have any chance of winning this game? It seems like you've kind of lost hope this year, completely in your Lions here. You seem like you lost.
Joe, that's impossible, man. Joe, I never lose hope, man. You'll still make it the playoffs. The playoff videos, 1%. We'll take it. There's a chance. Hey, our only shot, I think, at this one is just, can Stafford move it all? How healthy is he? I know he's going to play. He plays through everything, but I just don't know how well he's feeling. I mean, last week he was really bad, and I mean, we're completely hurt. I think on paper, the Titans have an advantage everywhere on the field. I don't see an advantage for us anywhere, really. Maybe in the passing attack, depending on Stafford's health, but that's our chance. That's how we, compete with teams. We move the ball down the field with Bevel. Stafford's been playing just lights out, the last couple of weeks. So that's our shot. That's how we're going to stay in this one. If Stafford's feeling good enough, he slings it around, and he's feeling good in Tennessee.
What's your final score on this one?
Oh, man. I don't remember what I said last. I don't know, man. I don't.
You got to go for them to lose. Every time you vote for them to lose, they win, right?
That's right. Let's go. I'll say a close one then. I'll say Titans 34, Lions 31.
There you go.
34-27. So we're pretty close on there.
Okay.
All right.
Hopefully I jinxed it a little bit.
All right, guys. I appreciate you. Have a good Christmas or whatever holiday.
Tighten up. You too, Joe.
Yeah. Have a good Hanukkah. Every holiday. All right, guys, appreciate you. Means a lot. All right, let's move on here. We got Liam here. He's representing this matchup here. Our man JT covers the Falcons. He's not in today. He had a personal issue. Tampa Bay Buccaneers, man, I think this is the dark horse. I don't know if you even want to call Brady a dark horse, but you got to look at the situation here. I mean, they kind of had a shaky start, but now I think they're kind of emerging. Liam, what do you think, man? Do you think they make a strong run here down the stretch?
I do, Joe. I think the Bucs are a very dangerous team, and I think when they're playing at their very best, they can beat anybody in this league.
No bias here. Just this is totally you, just non-biased. You genuinely feel this.
I genuinely feel that. Outside of the two New Orleans games, and I know we were down big early to Kansas City, they've been in every game this year. They blew away Green Bay. It's a real interesting. It's interesting with this team. They just don't seem to click on all cylinders. They don't really have a lot of people say they don't have an identity. They kind of just have it's just a team of nothing but a bunch of talent. They don't have any chemistry, and they just kind of go out there and try to do their best. But at the end of the day, I do think that talent can get it done. And, we have a pretty favorable last 3 games here. The Bucs fans have not seen a playoff game in 13 years. Over half my life, we've gone without a playoff game, and we are this close. I can smell it. A win today I think we'll have a 92% chance of making the playoffs with 9 wins. So I'm hoping they can get it done in Atlanta today. No Julio Jones. Their O-line's banged up. Falcons have the 28th ranked defense, 30th ranked pass defense. I think the Bucs are going to get a pretty easy win today on the road in Atlanta.
I got 2 legends going, a real legend in Brady and the other guy, Matt Ryan, which I'm not really sold on. All those yards and nothing to show for it. I think he had an MVP, though. We got to give him that. But
yeah, one MVP.
Yeah, I'm not really sold on Matt Ryan. A little overrated, in my opinion. And the thing that gets me with Matt Ryan, maybe you can agree or disagree, totally up to you. He's got Julio. Like, you and I could go in there and throw the ball up, and Julio, like, I could literally throw beach ball. Like, Julio can catch it. Like, he's got great receivers. He's had great weapons around him, and he still hasn't performed. I've had enough of the excuses about Matt Ryan being elite. I mean, he's just, I don't know, man. I'm just not sold on the guy.
He's just really inconsistent. I agree with you. He's very inconsistent. He throws bad interceptions. I think he threw a couple bad ones last week in crunch time. And this Atlanta team, it's amazing how often they choke.
Yeah.
I think they're a little bit better than the record indicates. I think they lost to Detroit on the very last play of the game. They blew a game against Chicago.
They blew a lot of games this year, even at the beginning of the season.
Yeah. I really hope the Bucs don't lose to Raheem Morris and Dirk Cutter, a couple of former head coaches. That would sting a little extra today.
Right.
If we went down in Atlanta, for sure.
All right. Well, I appreciate you, man. Sorry, did you give a final score yet?
I'm going to go with the Bucs 31-17. 6.5 point favorites. I'll give us the 14-point win.
I think they make a statement here. And again, I think they finish strong. I think they could win the Super Bowl. Believe it or not, I think I'm a bit of a conspiracy theorist. So I'm going to guess that Brady is going, just like Ray Lewis, just like Peyton Manning. I always go back to those examples. they're going to get another Super Bowl before they retire. You just don't, you end off at an exclamation point when you have such a amazing career. And I believe in the conspiracy. I believe that things happen to help these legends finish strong. And I think Brady gets one. It might not be this year. It might be the year after, but I think this could happen very soon. So yeah, I think
Right, Joe.
Yeah.
I hope you're right.
Yeah, I'm a bit of I called the Brady. I called the Manning thing. And I mean, if you look at that Manning, I don't want to get into this too much, that he was throwing beach balls out there. He looked like crap when they won the Super Bowl. Cam Newton was like, I don't know, like he just didn't show up. It was like Superman went to like Clark Kent drunk, that game. It was weird. It was like all of a sudden Peyton Manning is better than Cam Newton in that game. And like I don't know, man, something is weird. So I think the Buccaneers are going to get a handout. Who knows?
I hope so. Starts today.
We'll take it.
Falcons.
All right, guys, enough with the conspiracies. All right, let's move on here. Let's get Jacksonville and Ravens. I'm just going to go over this real quick. Ambassadors aren't here today. Ravens are a 13-point favorite here. Jacksonville have been playing like absolute garbage. I mean, Ravens should take this matchup. Lamar Jackson looking good in the past couple games. Hopefully that continues for him. Obviously, once you have a guy that plays so well one year, expectations are set high. And then obviously a decline was imminent. And sure enough, we've kind of seen that with Lamar. But I still think he's got a lot of juice left in him. I know his receivers are kind of banged up. I think that there's some guys on the COVID list. I think Hollywood Brown, some other guys. But I think they still have a good game. 13 points, a bit of a stretch. Jacksonville can play a little bit tougher sometimes. Might be able to keep this game a little bit tighter than we think. But I think the Ravens pull off a win there. But I got our Miami guy here. Doug, do you want to jump on here? Mr. Miami, I mean, I really want to get your word in here on the Buffalo Bills.
Oh, boy.
Look, you're in darkness. I see all the lights are off. You look like you've got what's going on here, man? You're sitting in darkness here.
I just got to bump my ISO on my camera. It's also really crappy here in New Jersey. So.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah, so what's going on, man, with the Dolphins? I mean, you guys this is a weird spread. I haven't seen one of these spreads, but too many of these this year, but 1.5-point favorite. You know that the Patriots are trying to make a huge run here and finish strong. They got to win out, I think, the Patriots. So you understand the desperation here for New England. What are your thoughts on this game? Can the Dolphins neutralize the Patriots here? And I guess they have to, right?
Yeah, Dolphins home in their throwbacks, which last time the Dolphins were home, I think it was 2 years ago like this in their throwbacks against the Patriots was the Miami Miracle. Julian Edelman's not playing for New England. Their running back isn't playing. They're pretty banged up. Dolphins defense is just a world of a difference from week one when they played the Patriots. You have Xavier Howard, who has 9 interceptions on the year, leading the NFL, and has more interceptions than some teams combined. We have Emmanuel Ogbah getting sacked and pressure. It's the defense is just above and beyond where it was. So I honestly think they'll have a better time of containing the Patriots offense. And a lot of people want to talk about Bill Belichick's record against rookie quarterbacks, being that Tua Tagovailoa is starting this game, and how he is 19-5, Bill Belichick, against rookie quarterbacks. But what people don't want to talk about is 3 of those 5 games that he lost was against Geno Smith, Mark Sanchez, and Colt McCoy. So if those 3 guys can beat Bill Belichick, I'm pretty confident that Tua can pull this
Mr.
off.
Butt fumbles. Everybody remembers the butt fumble, right?
It was a great Thanksgiving day on that one.
So I'm just looking at your records here. Could you have imagined, let's be honest. Okay, so in week 15, that the Bills would win out, right? They got a playoff spot, that the Jets would not win a game at all, and that the Dolphins would do as well as they would, and the Patriots probably not even going to win the division. Like, would you have imagined that this division going the way that it has this season? It's been crazy, hasn't it?
It's funny, too, because when the season started, a lot of people were asking me, hey, what's your prediction on the Dolphins record? I said, I'd be happy with 8-8. I think 8-8 is good. They were 5-11 last year. It's a good development as they're still, this is the first year of the rebuild. Last year was the teardown, to this year's the rebuild. But to see them at 8-5, literally controlling their destiny to get into the playoffs, they win out, the Dolphins are in. It doesn't matter what the Ravens do. Dolphins are in if they win out. Blows my mind how well they're playing and how banged up they are. and they're still super competitive. They have a bunch of games that are winnable games against the Patriots, against the Raiders, who we all saw what the Chargers did against the Raiders. And I don't think the Bills are going to be playing their starters week 17. So it's a very good possibility that the Miami Dolphins can win the next 3 games and go into the playoffs 11-5.
Yeah, man, I definitely see that. So this is a crucial game. You know that they're going to bring it. The Patriots are going to bring it. So what is your final prediction here? What are your thoughts? Do the Dolphins pull this one out? It's going to be a tough one, though. Let's be honest.
Yeah, there's a reason they're only a 1.5 favorite at home because it's Bill Belichick. Bill Belichick he still has that slim possibility, like you said, of making the playoffs. They need to win out and they need a lot of help. But Bill Belichick is still Bill Belichick, and you cannot take him lightly. Miami Dolphins need to play sound football, no mistakes. Don't give them opportunities. Get pressure on Cam Newton, and they'll pull this win off. I honestly think they'll win. I think it'll be a close win. I give it about 28-21 Miami Dolphins win this one.
Yeah, it's going to be a gritty game. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be close, and it might come down to the wire, maybe overtime type thing. I think it's going to be that type of game. So this is one I'm probably going to be watching for sure.
Yeah,
well, Doug, man, have a good Christmas, man. Looks like you've already got the decorations up, man. I appreciate you. And, man, go Dolphins this year. I can't believe it. You guys are pulling it out of your ass.
Yeah, man. Merry Christmas to you,
too,
bud.
Thanks a lot, man. Appreciate you. All right, we're going to move on here, guys. This is another huge divisional matchup here I want to talk about. And I got to bring on he's a spicy guy. He's a Viking. His name is William, and this is a game that the Vikings have to win, and the Bears. Faizan has a bit of spice to him himself, so I'll let these guys go. I want to just sit back and watch the fireworks on this one because this is where it matters. Faizan, you better bring it. I know your confidence has been down a little bit on your team, but I think it's time now. It's Bears right. What do you guys think? You guys go at it.
No, I definitely agree with you, Joe. You know what? I want to be nice today. I'll let Will go first, and then I'll go after him. So, Will, the floor is yours.
That's one thing you say about the NFC North is when it's a division game, I don't care how bad the teams are or how good the teams are. It's going to be a old black and blue division slugfest. And today, those Viking Bear games, I think every year, honestly, it does not matter the where they are in the division. These games are always tight. They're always close. Last game, even though we won on the road, which is a rarity. I mean, it is what it is. But, today it's about Dalvin Cook. It's about the trenches. Who can control the line of scrimmage on both teams? Can the Vikings generate pressure? I don't care who's playing quarterback. Can they open holes for Dalvin? I mean, Dalvin took a beating the last time we played. I mean, it was
That's right.
Game.
Yeah.
Will the Vikings maybe open up the passing game a little bit more and let Jefferson and Thielen do their thing? Irv Smith, Rudolph's not playing today, so Irv Smith, I think, I keep thinking it's going to be a big breakout week, and this could be the week. And then, Vikings without Kendricks makes me nervous for the third week in a row. It's just the defense was already hurting, and now to lose the middle of the field and the general on the field, it makes me a little nervous. But we're at home. We'll see. I mean, this is a hard game. I don't know. It's just a hard game today. I think the Vikings win it 24-21. Depends if Dan Bailey shows up to kick. But this will be an interesting game, and this will say a lot about Zimmer and where he is with the Vikings moving forward.
Okay, well, you did it. You picked the Vikings to win, so at least you had the courage of your conviction. So I'll give you that. But you know what? There's a lot of things you said you're nervous about. You should be nervous that Mitchell Trubisky is back under center, and it's not Nick Foles anymore. That like we had in the first time we played you guys, because that was one of the worst losses the Bears had all year. All right, we couldn't move the damn football, and Nick Foles got hurt in that game, and I never want anybody to get hurt. But man, it was nice to see that he wouldn't be the quarterback anymore after that. And we had a kick returner playing running back in Cordell Patterson as well. We have our horseback in David Montgomery. Shout out Joe, start him in fantasy this week.
Oh yeah, finally.
On fire. Okay, last 3 games we've been feeding him the football. So look, just that alone, having Mitch and Montgomery back is going to be a huge upgrade to the Bears offense. They're playing really well offensively. I know we still haven't have it translated to wins. Last week was a good win, but the week before that against the Lions, that was a bad loss. But the offense is moving the football. This is going to be a tough game. I hear you, Will. Division games are always tough. I think the key is really going to be, can we keep containing Dalvin Cook? Last time they were able to contain him, I think 30 carries for 96 yards. I mean, that's the best you could do, right? So that's really going to be the biggest key here. I'm picking on a poison here. I'd rather stop Dalvin Cook than the receivers you guys have on the outside. And as far as the offense, I think you're going to see the offense move the football with Mitch and A-Rob and Monty. I'm going to go with the Bears to win here 24-17. I think they're the more desperate team, and I think they're the team that are playing a little bit better right now.
Hey, the only thing I'll add to that is I know I say I'm nervous, but if I'm the whole Bears organization right now, the fact that Trubisky's still playing would make me nervous. And I'll tell you, even if we lose today, it's a win, because if that makes you guys keep Trubisky and you guys keep going for with Trubisky, I know the Vikings will be back next year with Zimmer. If this keeps your coaching staff, your front office, and Trubisky, shit, let me change my
Damn it,
let me change my prediction.
You know what? No, I know what you're trying to do.
48-0 Chicago.
I know what you're trying to do, Will. Stop it. And you know what?
Look,
I want to make.
You really want Trubisky next year? You really want Trubisky next year?
I just want to make the playoffs this year. We'll worry about next year later. All right, Joe will ask me about next year. I'll answer him about next year. But right now we're talking about this week, so I got the Bears winning 24-17. Will, take the L. I'm kidding. Go ahead.
Will, are you going to put up with that, man?
Hey, like I said, it's a win-win. It's Christmas for the Vikings. If we lose, they keep Trubisky.
Listen,
the Green Bay and the Lions, everybody's cheering this. Please. Now, if we could just somehow get the Lions to bring the coaching staff back that they fired, it'd be a real great Christmas for all of us.
Well, last thing I'm going to say, and Joe, you can take it off after this, is look, we're going against each other, but we're both rooting against the Cardinals today, okay?
Yeah.
Right. Cardinals. Sorry, AZ sports fans.
Let's go, Eagles. Fly, baby, fly.
Let's go, Eagles.
All right, guys, I appreciate you. Have yourself a good holiday, guys. I appreciate you a lot. All right, the two of the best, I'm telling you, the best of the best, the cream of the crop, whatever you want to say it, are coming on right now. Washington football teams, Ed Oliver and Norb Cam, Seattle. If anyone knows these teams, it's these guys. They had a collab here, so make sure you guys are following their channels respectively. Norb, and I'll let you guys go at it, man, because I think this game means a lot for both of you guys here. Must wins.
Hey, man, this is going to be a good one. We both have a lot at stake here. The last three games with a lot of teams, are huge, but for us in particular, for the Seahawks, this is kind of must-win territory if we want to have any chance of securing the division and a shot at one of the top seeds. So we got to win, and we got to start this week. And, man, it's not going to be easy. The Washington football team looked like they were going to be, beginning of the year, might be kind of an easy matchup. But since then, man, this team has just become a defensive monster. And it's a little scary seeing what they've been doing, especially with Chase Young flying around. But, Seattle's starting to get their groove back again too. And we are, one of those teams that tends to play well to close out the season. So I'm hopeful that we can pull this out and get the win out there in DC.
What, Ed? Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
I was gonna say you're so confident you didn't need to show up today. That's what I was thinking.
No, Nor made a rap video a couple months ago. We're a totally different team from the rap video that he made or TikTok. Haskins is starting today, so it's gonna be an interesting game. It's gonna be, for us to win, it's gonna be how Colt McCoy with the Giants when they beat the Seahawks. It's gonna have to be an ugly 16-13, 13-10 kind of game for us to win. We're on a 4-game winning streak. Our defense is on fire. Chase Young is on fire. Montez Sweat has stepped up huge. We got to get to Russ at least 4 times. We got to sack him at least 4 times to have a chance in this game. Gibson is out, so I mean the odds are really stacked against us. Alex Smith being out is going to hurt, but I mean we got to run the football, do whatever the Giants did to get this upset. So we'll see what happens. I mean the Seahawks pass defense is ranked 32nd, so if Haskins wants to have a good game, this probably would be the one. And their defense is ranked like 27th. So I'm trusting in Haskins. I'm going to put my faith in him in this game, and hopefully the defense, Chase Young, can get a strip fumble on Russ, and we'll see what happens.
I don't know, man. You say that you're putting your faith in Haskins, but I can hear the nervousness in your voice along with the rest of your Washington fan base, man. I've been watching some tape on him, man, and mechanics are a little questionable. He stares down receivers. I'm hoping that they do try to put the game on his shoulders, because if they do, I think it could turn things to our favor. I'm actually pretty relieved that Alex Smith is not starting in this game because obviously things have been going well since he's been at the starting position. And injuries at running back, that's one of the big things. We talked about this in our collab, but when we played the Giants, when they had the backup QB in there, I actually think that helped them a lot because they ended up leaning heavily on the run game, which is actually the thing that kind of did us in. But with your injuries at running back, I'm not sure how much stronger the running game is going to be since you guys are out.
Gibson's
not only at
out.
Quarterback, but at running back.
Well,
I don't know. It's going to be all in your defense, man.
Yeah, well, the thing is, Saquon Barkley was hurt for the Giants, and their backup came in ahead like 100-something yards on you guys. So our backup, Jada McKissick, a guy that you guys are very familiar with, who knows, he could break out this game. I wouldn't put the game in Haskins' hands. I would put it in Chase Young's hands and our defensive line against your offensive line that has given up 40 sacks this season and 52 hits on Russ and our running backs.
Norb, you're so nice. Honestly, why don't you just he's a nice way of saying Haskins has sucked so far. He doesn't have a nice way to articulate. He articulates it in a nicer way. Right,
well,
Norb?
so here's the thing. Yeah, everyone likes to bring up our 30-second pass defense. That's because we gave up like 1 million yards in the first half of the year. But since then, we've quietly been buckling down the hatches and are actually improving quite a bit. And now really it comes down to it's just if Seattle just balances their offensive attack and runs the ball, which now they got Chris Carson and and we've got even Rashad Penny now coming back. So our running backfield depth is starting to increase at the perfect time. I know there'll be game planning. There's no surprise here of what's going on with Washington, whereas I think it's very possible we overlooked the Giants a tad going into that game, them being at home. This game on the road against you guys, we know what it's all about. We've been watching it for the last four weeks. There's not going to be any overlooking this opponent here. So I think they'll be prepared for it. I think they'll balance it with the run. Russell Wilson knows he's got to get rid of the ball quick. I think they'll mix it up with some screens, take the pressure off of the offensive line so we don't put ourselves in a position where you guys are going to be trying to get 4 or 5 sacks. And if we do that, I think we will run away with this game. If we can just keep things balanced and not let you guys pin your ears back and come after Russell Wilson, I think they will game plan for that. I think we're going to come away with the win on this.
Wow.
Okay, so the thing about your defense, it's only improved because you played against the Jets and played against Colt McCoy. So that's the only reason why you guys.
And we put 40 points and we shut them down to 3. Yeah, it was the Jets, but you gotta you gotta do what you gotta do against a team that is has not a win. And I think that is about as good a performance as we can do. And we weren't even playing at our best, so we can definitely do better than that. And but that's I think we're trending in the right way, man. We'll see. Yeah. But I'll tell you, man, you're very polite and everything, but man, I've been getting a lot of hate from your guys' fan base, especially on TikTok. That video you referred to, the rap video, that thing blew up. It's like got 300,000+ views on TikTok. I have no idea why, but I think it's because all your fans hate me. So apparently it struck a chord. So I hope I don't end up eating crow on this one because apparently the people are using this as bulletin board material to prove me wrong. So I don't know. Feel a lot of hate from Washington fans out there, man.
Yeah, they definitely do.
Hey,
I still like you though.
Hey,
you're all right, man.
Hey, Norb, tell them they need a real name before they can make fun of you first. So the football team needs to be a little more original.
Too easy, man. It's too easy to make fun of the team with no name.
I know.
But hey, if you're winning with no name,
right.
that's all that matters. It doesn't matter what's on the side of your helmet if you keep winning. But
on a 4-game win streak.
That win streak stops. That's going to stop today.
All right. I like the confidence, and I believe you, Norb. I think Russell's going to pull it out too, man. I really do. Again, I'm biased. I've got his rookie card, a signed one, and I want him to succeed. So a little bit of bias there. So, all right, guys, I appreciate it.
Baby. Go Hawks.
All right, I appreciate it. We're going to move on here to the winningless Jets and the Rams, who are actually a 17. I think this is one of the highest spreads I've seen. I think there might have been another one this year, but anyone playing the Jets. But 17.5-point favorite are the Rams. Should we start off with Ian and just get it out of the way, like pulling off a Band-Aid that's stuck really hard on you? Where are you, Ian?
Joe, what's going on, man?
You keep showing up. I admire this, and I give you a lot of, courage. There's a lot of courage here, a lot of strength. You are the definition of strength here, and I'm not being sarcastic. I mean, you are here every week holding it down. I mean, what do you think? 17, that's a slap in the face. 17.5 points are the Rams' favorite here. It's kind of sad.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny you bring that up because right before we were about to hop on while Norb was talking, I went over and checked out the lines and whatnot. I saw 17. That was going to be the first point that I brought up. But, man, I mean, you're taking a look at this matchup. Literally, the Rams are better in every single category. Defense, even if you want to break it down to positional groups, the Rams still edge it out in literally everything. Even going to the coaching staff as well. Obviously, the Jets are traveling across the country. LA, they're still, they haven't locked down their, division yet. So I think they're going to be coming out flying. I don't see any way possible that Sam Darnold, this offense led by Adam Gase, has any success against this Rams defense that's absolutely loaded. Even like the middle tier guys are stepping up too, like Brockers and Leonard Floyd is bouncing back. I really like Staley, the D coordinator over there. But man, I mean, I hate to come on here every single week and just project this Jets loss, but I mean, I guess I'm 14 of 14. So
what do you mean? This is the trap game. This is the game that the biggest upset in history coming this week.
Yeah, I mean this season is pretty, I've written it off. I'm done with this season.
No kidding.
It is what it is.
No kidding, man. I mean, wasn't it like, who was the last team that went like 0-60? Wasn't it like the Dolphins years ago, like 0-14 or whatever it was?
It was Cleveland.
Cleveland. Was it? Okay.
Back when they picked Myles Garrett, I believe.
Yeah, that's bad, man. So Trent, I mean, you must be like sitting back, relaxed. Like, did you watch this game or what? Like, what's going on with you, man?
Yeah, I'm definitely going to watch this game. I just want to say that as a Rams fan, I know this feeling that Jets fans have. Like, this is prior to Sean McVay. I mean, we had number one, number two. I think we had the number 2 overall pick like multiple years in a row. So like we know what it's like to be hot garbage, right? So there's a lot of humility here. But I look at this game as kind of like a buffet because everyone on the Rams is going to eat. And this is, you never want to take a team lightly because it kind of, when you do, then like we took the Giants lightly at the beginning of the year and that was a close game. That game was like a touchdown difference. And so, but I look at the Jets and it just, you kind of just feel like it's dead man walking over there. You look at Gase and you just look into his eyes. There's no soul. It's just like it looks tough. Any vet like Frank Gore is just like, what? Why am I doing this? Why am I putting my body through this? I mean, I had to look into the Jets and really figure out what was going on. And also, Fatukasi is out, and that's like your main run-stopping guy, and your run defense was actually pretty good. And now he's going to be out of the game. So I was looking at the Jets offense, and they're last in points and yards and first downs and passing yards, drives ending in points, yards per drive, points per drive, red zone touchdown percentage. They've scored 55 fewer points than the next worst team, 394 fewer yards than the next worst team. And I'm looking at the Rams defense, which is, Aaron Donald is 3.5 sacks away from being the Rams all-time sack leader. So I think this is, so the defensive players are going to really look at this game of like, let's put all of those defensive statistical categories that we have in our favor this year. Let's really like go for it. Cause I thought it would be a trap. I thought this would be like Mike Tyson, Buster Douglas, but I just kind of feel like the Rams will be dialed in to this game and not looking past it. But, at the same time, we have Jared Goff and he can fumble it 8 times. So
you guys continue the conversation. I'm actually on DraftKings starting the Rams defense right now after this conversation because I'm guaranteed a win because they're going to put up 100 points. So that's what I'm going to do right now. So what are your score?
Joe, I mean, you're a big fantasy guy. I'm shocked that you haven't picked up on it. Just start whoever is playing the Jets.
100%.
If you do that, you're pretty much solid.
I've already made a life savings doing this every week. I'm good. I don't tell everybody all my secrets. I'm Captain Obvious though here. But
but shout out to Trent, man. His channel's top notch. He puts out the best Rams content out there.
I agree.
I appreciate that. Thank you. I have a question though for you. What's going on with the Jets secondary? Like what do we need to know? Because I'm looking at Goff. I think this is a good game for Goff to get right. But like, who do you have in the secondary that is that will be matching up against Woods and Kupp and et cetera?
Yeah, so, I mean, as far as the entire secondary is concerned, Marcus May, the free safety, he's been playing lights out. I know, the Jets have been horrible, this and that. They're pretty much the punchline of the NFL. But Marcus May, With the departure of Jamal Adams, with no CJ Mosley at linebacker, he's had to step up as like the best player or the player on defense. He's pretty much been asked to do so much on a week-to-week basis. It's pretty much insane. But then as far as like cornerbacks and whatnot go, Brian Poole, our best one, he's our slot guy. He's out. So we have two rookie starting outside guys in Bryce Hall. He was a late-round pick out of Virginia. And then Lamar Jackson, and he was undrafted this year. So two rookie late-round guys. And then we also have Blessian Austin, who's a second-year guy, but he was also a late-round pick out of Rutgers. I like all three of those guys, to be honest, but they're just so young. They just fired Greg Williams. It's just, it's just a mess. They're always on the field because it's turnovers, it's 3 and outs. Like, you'll definitely see how bad the offense is today. The Jets defense is definitely not some top 5, top 10, top 15 unit, but they're not as bad as what the numbers show. I think they are this bad because the offense just puts them in horrible positions every single week.
Yeah, and also, we had Greg Williams as our D coordinator back in the Fisher days, and the one thing that he did all the time, like those that was like when we had Chris Long, and those guys on the defensive line, and they were always so hyper aggressive, like to the point that they were like out of control, and there were so many penalties, and it was just like, and they were so cocky and just so rough, and it just was always backfiring. And so when Greg Williams was on doing this for the Jets and I saw the same thing, I was like, how does this guy still, this is before the zero pressure against Las Vegas. And I was like, how does this guy have a job in the NFL still? And so has your defense really changed? Or like with the new defense coordinator, has there been like a real, have you noticed a difference?
Well, funny enough, we've only had the one game with the new D coordinator. Bush, he's the one that's taken over. That was the game where we lost 40-3 to Seattle. So really not much to really check out. But it's funny. I actually really like Greg Williams. I kind of like that aggressive mindset because I think in today's league, it's just like you don't want to let these guys like Patrick Mahomes and all the Watson and stuff walk into your house and just humiliate you. So you're looking at the Jets roster and whatnot. Not many like average fans know who a lot of these people are. So I feel like to get that unit to play, average is something to be talked about. But I think the main issue was just the zero blitz. Haven't won a game. Gase personally fired Greg Williams, which I thought was odd. One mistake all year when Gase has been absolutely a joke. And he is the longest leash of them all. So I thought it was kind of annoying. But I do like Greg, and I like that Williams defense with the Rams back in the day with like Janoris Jenkins and Tremaine Johnson.
Oh, Tremaine. How much do you love Tremaine Johnson?
Not at all.
Not at all.
All right, guys.
He was good on the Rams, but I'll tell you what, like things will get better. You get rid of Gase, you get the right coach in there, you get Trevor Lawrence, you get the draft picks, you get Mosley back, sign some free agents. It'll get better.
All right, guys, we got to move on here. Appreciate you guys. Go Rams. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. All right, guys. So let's talk about the Cowboys real quick here. Cowboys, man. I mean, what's going on, Jordan? What do you got to say about, we got a Philly guy coming up next, but I want to hear your thoughts. Do you guys have a chance to make the playoffs here based on this division? What's going on?
Yeah, Joe, I don't know what's more embarrassing, being flexed out for the Browns versus the Giants game tonight. Are you skipping over us to talk about Jets football, man? But yeah, I think, when it comes to the Cowboys season, it's a playoff type environment, win, keep your season alive. Now we need some things to work in our favor. So go Seahawks. But with the news just broke, Ezekiel Elliott's not going to play today.
I heard that.
This is the wish that a lot of Cowboys fans have been asking for, us to see what Tony Pollard will look like in this offense. So get a high dose of Tony Pollard. Also, our defensive core, a lot of our secondary players, Trayvon Diggs will be playing. We also get Cheeto Awuzie, Anthony Brown, and Donovan Wilson back. So a lot of Cowboys fans are excited about that. But let's be honest, the one thing the 49ers does well is run. They have a lot of misdirections. They use Mostert and those guys out there, and we're horrible at the run defense. So it could go either way. I feel like if the Cowboys are able to contain the run, then we have the opportunity to win because Andy Dalton has been serviceable with the weapons that we still have in place. But if we're giving up 200 to 300 yards rushing on the ground tonight or today, actually, man, just, good game. let's wrap things up and move forward. But next week we will beat Philly, though. But that's a different story.
Well, yeah. What happened to Zeke? I haven't followed the news. I just heard he's inactive now. But what was the issue with him again?
It was like a strained calf. So he was limited last week, but he played on it. But I think this week he set out the full week for practice, and I think they just announced that he can't give it a go. So, I wanted to evaluate Tony Pollard to see what he looks like in Mike McCarthy's offense and Kellen Moore's offense, because I know a lot of people are wanting to move on from Zeke. I'm not one of those guys. I believe Zeke is still one of the top running backs in the NFL.
Yeah.
Things hasn't worked in his favor this season. So, you don't want to stress it out. You don't want to have like a rupture or a tear that could linger on to the offseason. So just shut him down. Let Tony Pollard get the snaps. And then moving forward, we'll come back with Ezekiel Elliott and Dak Prescott and run this thing back next year.
So how does this play out here if people aren't following the division? So the Cowboys have to win out, or like who's got to lose? Right. Do you kind of know what's the scenario?
The Cowboys have to win out. Washington has to lose out. And I think that's the thing. But if Washington wins one game, our season is over.
Okay.
And then if the Cowboys lose one game, the season is over. So it's interesting. I'm not really focusing on the playoff aspect, but you just want to kind of have that mindset for a lot of these younger guys to get that playoff type of mentality. I've never been, team tank, because I think creating a winning culture in Dallas is something that's more valuable than any draft pick right now. And so seeing CeeDee Lamb playing this type of pressure, Neville Gallimore, Trayvon Diggs, some of the guys that I mentioned, this is a good opportunity. So hopefully they showed up and they can build off what we saw versus Cincinnati. The defense looked a lot better. They were actually flying around to the ball, creating turnovers, different things like that. But that was the Bengals. So.
Yeah, well, I appreciate it, man. And next week, are you playing the Cowboys?
We play the Eagles.
Or the Eagles, sorry. The Eagles, sorry. I mean, Cowboys versus I meant Eagles. Yeah, for sure.
We're going to toss some Eagles on the grill for Christmas dinner, man.
All right. Well, I appreciate it. So let's get, everyone keeps talking bad about the Eagles, so why don't we get our Eagles ambassador on making his debut? What up, Philly Notion and the Arizona Cardinals, who are a 6-point favorite. Thank you, Jordan. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Hey, my man. Thank you for having me on this thing. Hey, it's a wonderful morning for an Eagles fan. I'm going to tell you this right now. We got playoff hopes. Let's go talk about it. And real quick for the league, because for whatever reason, y'all already counting this out. Let me go remind y'all who the last team in the NFC.
That's right. That's right.
Sir.
That's
we
right.
definitely got it done. Hey, but listen, it's going to be an exciting game today. And I'm going to tell you right now, we ready for it. So you already know Arizona. Listen, y'all, y'all in the way. We got playoff aspirations now. We got a new movement with Jalen Hurts.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. We in there.
I love the confidence. I mean, this is great. I wish Ian had the same confidence, but when you're like 0-100, it's hard to get that confidence. But there's a fighting chance here. What do you got to say about that, Mike?
Hey, what's going on here? First off, I want to say welcome, Philly Notion, man. Thank you so much for being on here. We needed a Philly guy for quite some time, but this game, honestly, I'm really excited about it. As you know, Philly over there is really happy. I'm happy. We all have playoff hopes. And right now we're sitting in the 7th seed. We have, Fies wants me to, to fail today. Also, the Vikings want me to fail. But no, I think the Arizona Cardinals will pull this off. We got a get-right game last week against the New York Giants. Now, some people might say, hey, it's just the New York Giants. But we're 3 out of 4 right now in the NFC East, beating them out. So you guys are just one step in the way. Go 4 out of 4.
I got to rebuttal that, my guy. Listen, I'm not going to sit here and act like, okay, we know we got some concerns this game coming into this game. I'm not going to sit here and act like, look, a big blow we have, Darius Slay, he's going to be out this game. So we understand y'all got DeAndre Hopkins. We're going to have to go ahead and find a way to contain that. Kyler Murray, we know, hey, he's a young electric talent also. But at the same time, we know, hey, listen, if you can contain Kyler Murray to actually, under 50 yards, y'all taking an L. So please believe, hey, containment's going to be key this game. I definitely feel, hey, look, I'm not going to sit here and act like we're not going to stop DeAndre Hopkins is going to be stopped. I see him probably putting up about 120 on us. But at the same time, listen, we're going to find a way. Jalen Hurts has resurged this Eagles team. With the combo of Jalen Hurts and Miles Sanders, listen, this team is responding completely different. I know, look, Carson ain't happy right now sitting on the bench watching this success, but right now we're going to ride this momentum. And again, hey, sorry, Arizona, Y'all just in the destruction path this week.
Wow. I love the confidence.
Man. I honestly do think it's going to really come down to Jalen or Kyler Murray. If Kyler Murray has a terrible game, and you called it right, man. We've been talking about it here all the time. Whenever Kyler Murray does get limited to less than 50 rushing yards, we don't look so good. So I completely agree with you there, but it's really up to Kyler right here. We control our own destiny, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, guys.
True that.
Well, Philly, thanks for bringing the energy, man. We appreciate you. First time out. And we got some big things coming up here. Battle of the Birds here. And understand, guys, if it's a physical challenge, the Cardinals are not a very big bird. So, I mean, in reality.
This guy again. All right.
Have you guys considered changing your mascot? I mean, it's just not very intimidating.
It isn't. And I've actually seen a real cardinal, like in real life, and yeah, they're pretty dang tiny.
Well, why don't you might as well be called the Canaries or something like that. You know what I mean?
Hey, man, don't diss them, man. We'll get there, man. Don't worry about it.
Okay. All right, guys. I appreciate you. So let's move on here. We're going to jump over here to the Monday night game. Is it a Monday night game? Yeah, the Steelers versus the Bengals. Chisel, do you want to cover this for us?
Oh, yeah, I could cover it for you. Pretty much it's going to be Pittsburgh after starting 11-0, done dropped 2 consecutive games in a row, and then now we're taking on the Cincinnati Bengals, who happen to be starting, if I'm not mistaken, Finley. I can't even remember this guy's first name, so that's going to be very interesting. And AFC North battle. Now, if Pittsburgh can walk away with the W, which I expect them to, they'll wrap up the AFC North and clinch themselves. They already got themselves a playoff berth, but they'll win the division the first time in 2 years. So I'm expecting this to be a complete thrashing because the Bengals are at the bottom of the league in damn near every single category. I don't think there's anything positive in Cincinnati but the fact that Joe Burrow will. So that means nothing current is good for the Bengals. In Pittsburgh, they need a game to bounce back after losing to Buffalo and losing to Washington. So I'm expecting them to go out there tomorrow night and just put on a damn show.
A lot of guys calling you the pretenders because some of the matchups, actually looking at the matchups, you know, some of your wins were against very easy teams, to say the least here. So are they the real deal? Do the Steelers have enough to carry them all the way to the Super Bowl this year?
Truly, it's just the offense has to get their head out of their ass. The defense is legit.
Yeah.
Regardless of who you play, the statistics that they put on defensively, that's no joke at all. But granted, given what the schedule was, I mean, second easiest, schedule in the NFL, you can't deny that. There were some cakewalk games that should have been blowouts, but Pittsburgh's offense isn't very competent.
No.
But if they could just cut down, the interceptions from Ben when he doesn't have to throw those rocket balls. If they can actually decide to run the football, Pittsburgh can be much better than what, it appears to look like on paper. Because one thing is when you look at the 11-0 start and them just being able to survive against Tennessee, getting by Baltimore 2 times in games where Baltimore could have walked away with the W. But if you look how Pittsburgh plays and you actually watch their games, Pittsburgh's in their own way. Not once were there moments where you watch a Pittsburgh game and you see, man, the other team has the upper hand on them. Pittsburgh's dropping footballs when it's clear catches. I think, if I'm not mistaken, they've got 37 drops on the year, 15 or I think 18 in the last 3 games, which is ridiculous for a team that's won all these games.
Yeah.
So despite these transgressions that they've had this season, they've still been able to get themselves 11 wins, and possibly this Monday they'll walk away with 12. So all they got to do is just take their head out of their ass, and they won't be these pretenders that everybody's calling them.
Yeah, there's certain players that could be good, and they're good, they look great, but to be ultra elite and amazing, they hinder themselves. Like, for example, I heard right now that Deontay Johnson is going to be in Times Square dropping the ball. That's my joke of the day. But listen, the guy earned himself a bench spot. Do you think that, honestly, that James Washington has now stolen that job from Deontay at this point?
Well, so I'd have to say, yeah, pretty much he's taken that job, because if I'm not mistaken, Deontay Johnson was top 5 in targets in the NFL coming into week 12. And then all of a sudden, this guy's hands, he decided, hey, I want to be on a Christmas ornament. Let me just show that my hands are for decoration. And guys started dropping everything. So once that started, Mike Tomlin, being a man of his word, said if these guys can't catch the football, they will be replaced. And he got benched for the remainder of the first half.
last week against Buffalo. So I would like to see more James Washington to invigorate that fire in Deontay Johnson. And apparently Big Ben came over to him and said, hey, man, do you want to play football?
Wow.
And I guess that was enough to set him straight, because in that second half, he actually didn't drop a pass. He was quite productive, although it wasn't 100 yards. He got 40 yards on crucial catches. So I'm hoping this can be a bounce back game for him. And also your other guy, Chase Claypool.
Yeah.
I don't know where he's been the past few weeks, because 10 games, 10 touchdowns, and since then, he hasn't really shown up. There were moments where I'm curious if Pittsburgh were going to give him much more snaps or things of that nature, but he's just not getting the separation that he was earlier in the season.
No, he's not. So maybe people have keyed in on him more. Could that be it? I don't know.
No, I actually don't think it is. I think there's a dip in his performance, because it's not as if they're putting the safety over top and then taking away the deep threat that's there. Right. When he's running short yardage routes, he's kind of lacking off on the separation there. He's rounding off routes. So I guess he may have gotten very complacent. Juju's been playing very good, although it hasn't really showed up in the yardage area. He's been getting open all the time, but then sometimes Ben's trying to get the ball to somebody else, so you're just seeing blatant drops of the football. Because Pittsburgh, they've actually been able to put together drives, or at least that have drives that look like it's building momentum. But with all those drops, it axes the way the offense looks. And on top of that, they haven't had a 100-yard rusher since week 6.
Right.
They're not even trying to run the football. So it's one thing if you can't run the ball. It's another thing if you're not trying to run the football. So they've just got to figure out what they want to do offensively.
This game's a lock. You guys got this game won. It's just about how they project them moving forward. And it sounds like it's an offensive thing. They just got to get in sync. That's all it is.
Yeah, absolutely. It's definitely an offensive thing. I'm just hoping that, because we made Garrett Gilbert look like a Pro Bowl quarterback when we played against Dallas. I mean, it's ridiculous. You got somebody coming in Finley. I mean, we played him last year, but for all intents and purposes, if we're lax against the Bengals and we allow them to hang around and we don't blow this team out, it could mess around and go down to the tail end of the fourth quarter. And now Ben's going to have to put together a drive with an offense that continues to struggle. So I'm just hoping the defense does what they do. I mean, you just set an NFL record with 70 consecutive games with a sack, and the Bengals offensive line, they're the exact reason why Burrow got hurt, and they cannot protect the quarterback, nor can they block for the running game as well. So I expect the Pittsburgh defense to lead the charge. And if you have the Pittsburgh defense on your fantasy team, now's a good week to start them, because I think they'll get a defensive touchdown. They could possibly get a special teams touchdown, and I'm expecting well over 5 sacks. And a couple of interceptions as well.
For sure. All right, Chisel Adonis, I appreciate you. It means a lot for you being on. Let's go Steelers. Let's see if they can go all the way, man. Appreciate you. Thank you. All right, guys, that wraps it up. One more thing I want to say here. The Chiefs and Saints, Browns, Giants, those two games, quick breakdown here. Chiefs are a 3-point favorite here in this matchup against the Saints. Going to be a tight one, going to be a good one. The return of the Breeze, and the Browns and the Giants. Browns being a 6-point favorite here. I think they could probably win that game. 9-4 versus 5-8. Must win here for the Browns. Must win here for all teams pretty much this week. It's going to be exciting. I mean, there's a couple teams that are out of playoff contention, obviously Jets being one of them. But again, guys, I'm beyond excited. Week 15 playoff. And for fantasy, there's a lot of playoff championships going on. And man, beyond excited. Enjoy the games. It's Sunday. And if we don't talk, we won't talk until then. Have yourself a Merry Christmas, guys.